Everyone. Um, this is a demo that's going to show you how to actually go about getting started using the template that I provided for you on Scratch to create your own 8-bit art video game. So essentially, when you click on the link in Blackboard that actually takes you, what will happen is it'll take, for the template, it'll take you, it'll open up Scratch. Scratch exists in the cloud, so it actually operates within a web browser. So you click on that link, it'll open up whatever your default browser is. It'll open up a page in there. It'll open up specifically to the game that I have provided for you to use as a template. It's called Original Snack Attack. And so whenever you open up a project on Scratch, essentially, you can actually play it. So sometimes they're video games, sometimes they're digital animations, it can be other types of projects people make. And the way you actually play them is when you see the screen like this, you're in a project page, and you have to hit the green flag generally. That's the default sort of command to start the game. And so I hit that, but now, hit that again, there we go. And now it's ready to go. You see it reset the game. It says Snack Attack, only you can defeat the flying cupcakes. So in order to now play the game, I can see that it has a command here that says press space to start. That's the space bar. So if I press the space bar, the game now starts. And the goal is to catch as many cupcakes as I can before they hit the ground. Each time they hit the ground, I lose one of my chances. And you can see I got one left up in the top left, right? And so that means if one more cupcake hits the ground, I'm curtains. Uh-oh. All right, so I lost. I can press the space bar to play again. So there we go. Let's see. I'll try that. Oh, that went by quick. So anyway, this is a very sort of simple game. It's called a catching game, right? Sort of a classic going back to the old days of the Atari 600, right? So back when I was a kid, back in the late 70s. So when you actually encounter a project on Scratch, you can always modify it. So the way you modify it is you actually have to open it up or see the code inside of it. So in order to see the code inside of a Scratch project, you have to go up to the top right where it says See Inside. If you click on that, what happens is it actually opens up the program. It takes you into the area where you can actually see the code over here. And as you can see, in Scratch, you don't have to actually write out code, right? You read about this, or you will be reading about this in some of the readings for this week's module. But you actually, each like bits of code are put together into block form, and then you snap them together like Legos to create a program, right? A command, a string of commands. And these are the program for the game. And so essentially, over here on the bottom left, these are your sprites. A sprite is anything that occurs that you can visually see on the screen. So it can be text, it can be the cupcake, it can be the cat. It's the element that you see on the screen. And each one of these sprites has its own programming or commands that tell it what to do and when to do it. So the cupcake has different commands, different scripts, so to speak, than the cat, who we'll call the catcher because he catches it here. And so you basically, for instance, right now I'll click back on the cupcake. The cupcake, its script basically tells the cupcakes one after another to fall from the sky at different angles, and then when you hit the ground, you disappear. The cat's script tells it I can go left and right, whether I hit the left or right arrow, and then when I come in contact with the cupcake, tell the cupcake to send it the signal that it can disappear, and also increase my score by 1 up here. And so that is essentially how Scratch works. Now for your template, we're not going to really get into, because of the nature of this online course, like, programming very much. I'll encourage you to play around with it. Hopefully you will be interested in doing so after reading the Scratch manuals and the other readings. But at its core, what I really want you to do is think of a new concept for your game that you can actually use this this template as a shell within which you can build your game. So essentially, you're going to think of an original concept and then the artwork that would go along with it, and replace the artwork that's already here. So really, what I want you to do is create a new catcher and a new treat. That's what we'll call the cupcake. So a new thing that the actual catcher has to catch, and a new catcher, and you can change the background as well too. So maybe you're going to make, ooh, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, I know in previous classes, and you'll see some examples that are online, what people have done with this template. People have had like, well, there's some odd one. Well, there's one I liked with someone who worked at a fast food restaurant that had to catch the burgers falling from the sky. Why they were falling from the sky, I don't know, but it made sense in the game itself. So, um, so think about what the concept of your game, right? Now, how do you replace the artwork? Well, when you're in a sprite, such as, let's see, right here, the treat, the cupcake, you'll notice there's some tabs up here that say script, costumes, and sound. Scripts refers to the code here. So when you're in this mode, that's when you would program and stack these different blocks together that do different things. When you're in costumes, that's when you see the look. That's when you can change the look of the sprite. So right now, there's a cupcake here, right? In order to like make a new sprite that replaces the cupcake, this is really, it's not that complicated. What you do is you go up to where it says paint new costume. Here, there's some icons here. And then a new costume pops up there. And then you can actually leave this old one up here for now. A costume is like a different sort of outfit for the sprite. Since in some instances in games you might want to alternate between different costumes. Some people do, for instance, like in a game, like maybe instead of when the cupcake hits the ground and disappears, you could have it splat. So the splattered cupcake would be a different costume. But really what you're going to use this for is to create a brand new sort of icon for it. So what we can do is you can go over here, down here is where you start your drawings, right? And we're going to be doing it in the 8-bit style. So you're not going to be doing freehand drawings. You're actually going to build up your illustration from just blocks of color. And the way you do that is, number one, down here in the bottom right, you'll see it say bitmap mode and convert to vector. You want to make sure it's in bitmap mode. What that means is, it's actually, when it's in this mode, you can't make smooth lines. Everything is really constructed out of, small blocks. But, so like right now I have the brush tool, which is what you want. So when I draw stuff, it's still a little ragged. If I was in vector, it actually would be a little smoother. So right now I can just, if I wanted to draw freehand, I could, but I find it very difficult to draw freehand in this program without like a stylus and a pen. That's one of the things that's beautiful about 8-bit is you actually don't have to have precise drawing or rendering skills, digital rendering skills, or even the tools to do it. So right now, though, I want to clear this. So I can just always hit clear up here, and it clears the screen. Now, what I want is, if I look at where it says line width, right now, you can make it fatter, smaller. So this is actually the size of the brush. If I make it fatter, you see it's like this, right? And the odd thing is, the fatter you make your line, the more rounded it is. So this looks like a perfect circle. Again, I'm going to clear up here. So interestingly, when you go to the left and you go about 3/4, and now you can't really see the cursor, it's so small, so I'm going to actually zoom in a bit, right, on the drawing. Now you can see that cursor is, zoom in a little more, is a perfect square. So when it's a square now, I can actually start building up my illustration by stacking my squares. And when it's usually about four of these little squares, the cursors fit inside the gray and white squares, and you can pick different colors, right? Start building your thing. I can't spend a lot of time building something while I'm, talking. So what I'll do is I'll real quickly like sort of make maybe like real quick like like a hot dog, I guess. So here, I'll use this as, ooh, what color will the bun be? I guess like kind of a light brown, right? So that's not a good hot dog color. Oh, maybe I'll just keep this for the bun. It's not going to be very accurate. So I just keep clicking away. And just give me a second. And then the hot dog is going to be some kind of, I don't know. Oh. Well, we'll make it that. That's not a very appealing hot dog. Well, it should be red, right? I guess a red hot. All right. Well, that's not a good looking hot dog color, but we'll see. We'll just go with it. All right. So anyway, excuse the crudeness of the hot dog. So now I have my hot dog I've drawn. You'll see over here that the hot dog is right there. You'll notice that when I actually started drawing, there were some crosshairs. That's going to be the center of the sprite, so you want to sort of draw with that in mind as the center. If for some reason you're afraid you got off center, you can always go up here to where it's got a little crosshair and click on it, and you can reposition it in the center. Okay. Now, when I go back over to here, I want to get rid of this cupcake. I don't need this costume anymore, so I can just click on that costume and go to the top right where there's an X, click it. Now it's gone. Now, if I actually go back to the game to play it here, and I can press green, I press start. Oh, you can see the hot dog floating, although it's really small. So if that's the case, um, what I can do, because you don't want the small hot dog, the easiest thing is you just go back into the script area here for the hot dog, and you'll see an area that says when green flag clicked, that's when you start the game. You're going to hide. That means we don't want to see it at the very beginning when you click the green flag because you're seeing the start screen. Set size. This sets the size of that sprite. So right now it's at 70% of the size that I drew it in. I actually am going to think I want it at like maybe 300 even. So I'm going to change it to 300. Now I'm going to hit that green flag again. Start over and see how big it is. There we go. That's more like it. I can even make it bigger if I want. I can make that. I think I'll make it 400. I'm going to do that again. Start. That's better. Okay. So now we have a hot dog. Now I'm not going to do it now because you don't need to see me do it again. But essentially, what I would do next is to change the sprite. Let me stop this so we don't have to see it. To change the catcher's art, the cat, I click on the catcher, go up to costume, right? Let me make this. And he's got two costumes. One for when because he's got kind of a walking motion. You don't have to worry about that. You can just make one costume, and that's fine. So I need to actually go up here, click on Paint New Costume, and then make a new sprite for the catcher, right? And then once I do that, I can actually just delete these two by clicking click, and getting rid of those, like with the X right here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave him here for now, right? But anyway, and I'll go back to scripts. So let's say, and last thing, if you want to change the art for the background, you actually go to where it says stage. That's the background. Click on that. And then you go to backdrops here, and then you can change the backdrop here in the same way you did for the sprites. And also, once you change your treat from a cupcake, you're going to want to change what it says here when it says, let me reduce the size here. Snack attack, only you can defeat the flying cupcakes. So what you can do is you can click inside of it and then basically click to highlight cupcakes and type in whatever else hot dogs right there. And then it'll turn to hot dogs. So anyway, now once I actually have changed this, you can actually then, there'll be a button that says remix up at the top right. I'll hit save now, right? So the reason it's telling me to save is because this is under my user, Mr. Steve, and it's thinking I'm changing my own file. For you, what it'll say is remix now. And so you hit yes, remix now. And then it'll actually ask you to make it, share it, and then you hit share to share it. So anyway, I hope that made sense. Don't worry if it doesn't or it's a bit confusing. You just email me, and I can give you some more. I can help you along with it. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory, especially with you seeing like the literature for this week and some of the other examples that I provided a link for, so you can see what other NIU students did. However, I don't want you to be put off by like the sophistication of some of those relative sophistication of some of those 8-bit games made by the NIU students in the physical version of this class. Um, we had we actually had more. There was much more hands-on instruction for me to give them than I can give you, working digitally, especially now that this is sort of like the first iteration of this digitally. But anyway, just contact me if you have any questions, but I think this is a good start for you. Um, and enjoy your game creation. And I will talk to you later. Bye bye.